Yo, what is going on, Guardians, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 gameplay video. Hey, in this video, I wanted to chat a bit about the next season of Destiny 2 and how I think the changes to the sandbox will play out. I was really excited about a lot of the changes that we read about in the TWAB last week, and it sounds like, high-impact fusions, Lord of Wolves getting nerfed. Those will all be great adjustments. We're also seeing auto rifles receive a buff, which I talked about in my last video, which is great. I'm really excited about trying some of those out. But I do have some concerns, and that's kind of what I wanted to chat about in this video. But just because we're focusing on concerns in this video does not mean that I'm only feeling negatively about the changes. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of good in that TWAB, but this video specifically will lean into a conversation about the things that I foresee as being potential problems. Alright, so let's get straight to the heart of the matter. We're in a pretty good sandbox right now. I think you may disagree with me. I think we're in a pretty good sandbox right now. There are some outliers that can be problematic, sure, and we've talked about those plenty on the channel. We don't need to rehash those. But overall, I really like where we're at in the game right now. We have lots of choices, even at the high end of the skill gap and in survival. I mean, there's lots of viable options. Spare Rations and Mindbender take the cake right now on console, at least, as the top combo at the high end of the skill gap. And there are some things that can compete with it pretty well, but those are the top choices for a combination at that level. Now, with the changes that we're seeing for next season, I'm a little bit concerned that we're taking a little variety away and solidifying Sparebender as the top dogs even further. As far as metas go, Spare Rations and Mindbender, it's not god-awful or anything. I'm not saying that. But it's definitely had a lot of time in the spotlight. One of the most common alternatives to that combination was Last Word and Beloved. This has been regarded as a great choice to combat the Spare Rations and Mindbender approach. Unfortunately, though, both of those things are getting nerfed. The Last Word on console, in my opinion at least, was not really an issue and wasn't high on my list of things that should be adjusted. I remember when the Last Word came out and prominent PC players were saying, I can't believe how terrible this thing is on console. I would be so mad if this was the last word that I got on my platform. I remember things like that being said almost verbatim. I could even tell you the names of the people that said it back then. I get that on PC, Last Word is kind of nuts. I've used it on PC. It is pretty easy just to full auto body shots into people. But that's not really the case on console. While the TTK is the same, the recoil is more severe, and it can be toned down by just widening the FOV to make the kick visually less dramatic on console. So to be consistent and proficient with the Last Word on console is much harder. So I'm bummed about that nerf, and you may say, well, dang, that kind of sucks, but I can get by with focusing on hip fire and using my Beloved. Well, Beloved's getting nerfed too. It'll no longer do enough precision damage to eliminate most supers in a single shot. We asked for this change a while back, and Bungie finally relented, and they said, fine, go make some cool flashy plays again, like in D1, and pull off some nasty snipes on those supers, sure. And the people rejoiced, yay, there was much rejoicing. But now they're like, lol, JK, you did not say no takebacks, and they're reverting that change. So your biggest alternative to Spare Rations Mindbender has now been significantly nerfed. And that's only going to solidify the position of Sparebender as the top dogs. Now, talking about taking more choices off the board, we also have 140 rapid-fire sniper rifles. These snipers are not overly used on console because they have one main drawback. They don't pump out enough damage. They don't pump out enough raw damage. So with these snipers, you can't one-shot supers, and that's a big deal to players who snipe. There are no 140 snipers among the top 20 weapons used right now in PvP on console. They're not, as far as the meta is concerned, they are not there. They do not have a presence among the top weapons. Not just the top 10, top 20. So now these snipers have also been nerfed. They're no longer going to do enough damage to double body shot players. This is, in my opinion, a bad call. And I know you may be resistant to that, but let me explain. There were snipers like this in Destiny 1. Like the 2020 or the Nudge, and guess what? Despite having massive aim assist, lowest zoom value scopes in the game, and great stability, they were really never used. People didn't want them because having to use 3 special ammo to secure a kill if you're missing precision hits is not good. Now, I get that players are worried about 140 sniper double body plays. That can be annoying. I get that. That can be obnoxious to die to, but on console especially, no one is out there saying, man, I'm just going to try and shoot this man twice in the body, right? Everyone's trying to hit their headshot. They would much rather use 1 ammo and get a headshot kill. That's greatly preferable. People are trying to hit their headshots, and if they miss the head and they hit the body instead, then yeah, they're gonna try and clean up their kill and go for a second body shot. And on console, snipers kick. You can't just hit the trigger twice after scoping in on someone's chest. Your second shot will miss wildly. You have to actually bring the scope back down onto your target. But if they're going to require 3 body shots now, no one's gonna want to use them. They'll be even less popular than they already are. People will go down the checklist and say, okay, Omniscient Eye, sweet, it's got a nice roll on it, can't wait to use this thing. Can it kill snipers with a headshot? Or can it kill supers with a headshot? Well, no. Okay, well, can it kill a standard Guardian in 2 shots to the body? No. Well, I guess I'm not using this thing, right? So now both Beloved and Rapid Fire Snipers have been nerfed, and the Revoker is the only top tier option. You know, it really is. There's some other, high impact sniper rifles you can use. Sure, maybe you want to use Silicon Aroma, maybe you want to use Tatar's Gaze, maybe you want to use Bite of the Fox. But in terms of just built-in advantages, Revoker's just got everything going for it, and it outclasses the others by quite a bit, right? It really does. So we just took a bunch of stuff off the table. So now, in my opinion, you're going to be seeing even more Spare Bender and maybe Revoker Not Forgotten on console. I think that's what we're looking at for the next season. You might say, well, TV people just need to get their box breathing, Beloved, and it'll be fine. Stop whining. I gotta admit, I'm not a fan of that argument. Box breathing isn't all it's cracked up to be. It's helpful at times, yes. You can get that extra damage and one-shot the supers, yes. But in my lobbies, when a Titan pops hammers and sees my sniper scope light up, he doesn't say, all right, I'm going to hold this hammer. I'm going to give this man time to get box breathing up before I toss this thing at him, right? My Dawnblade enemy supers, they're not holding their swords until box breathing comes up. They just go on the offensive, and I don't oftentimes, I would say more often than not, I don't have the time just to sit there and hard scope and wait for box breathing to come up. And most of these supers aren't just walking around at head level anyways into my scopes. They're sliding, flying, whatever. I find box breathing to be very situational. I don't regard it as a top tier perk personally. So, and 140 and 110 hand cannons also did not receive any adjustments either. That means there's literally not a single reason to run anything but a 150. A 140. Let me just put it in simple terms. I'm going to put 2 guns in front of you, and I'll be like, all right, here you go. There's two guns, 2 handguns. This one kills in 3 shots to the head, and this one kills in 3 shots in the head. And you're going to say, okay, well, what's the difference? Well, this one can shoot those 3 shots faster, and this one shoots those 3 shots slower. And obviously, it's a no-brainer at that point. You say, okay, they basically have the same damage output. They kill in the same number of shots. They still require all headshots. I'm going to go with the one that shoots faster. It's literally a no-brainer. There's not a single reason to pick the 140. So again, this only solidifies Spare Rations as the top dog. So at the end of the day, my main concern is that we took a lot of stuff off the table and left less competition for the meta at the top. I'm excited to play with autos. Who knows? Maybe we'll see some of them end up being meta. I don't know, but I doubt anything will threaten the current kings unless there's more info that we don't know about at this stage. We'll just have to wait and find out. But like I said, I don't hate Spare Rations and Mindbender. I really don't. I find them to be things that we can play around. It's really not a huge deal. But my only concern is that we're just taking more choices off the board. We really are just taking more choices off the board. And I didn't see enough buffs that made me think, okay, cool. At least we'll have these things to play with, instead of these things that are getting nerfed. I didn't see anything that made me excited about buffs and new options, other than maybe some auto rifles. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching the video. I do appreciate y'all for watching and hanging out. feel free to let me know in the comments section how you feel, what you're thinking. Also, feel free to stop by the stream sometime, TrueVanguard.com. We'd love to see you. All right, be warm and well fed, my friends, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible. Bye-bye.